Hello, audience. Newsmax published an article on November 11th stating that although the mainstream media has announced that former Vice President Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election, it does not mean that the 2020 election is over because President Trump has already started election fraud legal processings. This article did not discuss the election itself, but provides an in-depth discussion on the issues exposed by the election. The article mentions that the Constitution formulated by the founders of the United States strictly restricted the powers of the president. For example, the Constitution only authorizes the president to administer laws passed by Congress instead of enacting laws through executive orders. Although the president serves as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, he has no right to wage war without approval. In addition, the president's influence on the economy is far less than the Federal Reserve. It is not difficult to see that the U.S. Constitution fully embodies the Founding Fathers' concept of putting power in a cage and avoiding dictatorship. However, what the Founding Fathers did not expect was that the shadow government composed of collusion groups formed quietly. This behind-the-scenes shadow government is also known as the deep state. They include the military conglomerates, the Central Intelligence Agency, the bureaucracy responsible for national security, congressional staff, and the media. The shadow government appears to be a permanent institution composed of the national government, independent organizations, and the news media. But in reality, they have formed a community that transcends national security and the interests of the people. Regardless of the wishes of the president or the American people, this shadow government only serves its own interest groups. The article further explains how the shadow government has prevented President Trump from fulfilling his campaign promises regarding the withdrawal of troops overseas, and has created a Russian collusion and impeachment farce. Today's election fraud case is undoubtedly the result of manipulation by the deep state. We, the new Federal State of China, has already discovered the collusion between the Chinese Communist Party and the shadow government in the United States. It is certain that President Trump is not the first and will not be the last president to be framed by the deep state. Fortunately, the 2020 election has made many Americans more aware of the existence of the shadow government. Now, more and more Americans are waking up. They have seen through the lies of the media and pursuing the truth of this presidential election. We must all work together to further expose and dismantle the shadow government to defend the dignity and human rights protected by the Constitution. This is G Talk.